Red and Black Barbecue Shack. Back today, we've got a couple racks of ribs we just cooked up. Stick around for the video. Find out how they turned out this great. Alright, we're starting off today's cook with some Prairie Fresh. You pick these up at the Walmart. Each one of them's about 4 pounds, right around 4 pounds, so they're pretty consistent. Bones relatively straight on most of these. It's one thing to look out for on competition grade meat. These aren't going to be the brand that I'm going to be cooking, or they are going to be the brand. I'm going to get some prime pork. These are St. Louis cut already, so I'm not trimming a ton off of them. But I still am going to square them up a little bit, make them pretty even, make them look about the same, because they are starting out at about the same weight. So it's 3.9, 4.1, and 4. So let's get into it. I'm not going into a super heavy trim on these just because this is just practice. I have trimmed, competition trimmed on several other ones that I've done here recently. They are going to put some gloves on. But Prairie Fresh, I've heard good things about their prime pork. You can get it online. Not sure of the pricing on it. This stuff's not too badly priced because it's already St. Louis cut, meaning they've spent a little bit more time on this cut. It's going to be priced a little bit higher, but really it's $3.14 a pound. Usually pick up most pork around here for about $2 if it's untrimmed in just a pork butt or the whole rack. See, that looks like a really good looking cut of pork there. Really, when you stretch it out, it's not too bad. What you're looking for, you can put it on the pit. When you put it on the pit, you're going to scrunch it up. So I do all my trimming scrunched up. First of all, I'm going to get the probably last 2 or 3 bones out from here. Find the middle, cut them straight off just like that. Just scrunch them up. Marbling on these look really good. There are some thicker portions of fat. I think if I were to be trimming this for the competition, at the competition, I'd probably just cut it off at these bones here. But because I can square it up just like this, I'll probably leave those on. I'm not wasting any of this. All of this gets thrown on together and it all gets eaten. Or if I have enough trimmings, they go in a bag in the fridge. So this here, find that, stretch that all off. We're going to trim that off. Want to get too deep in there, but we do want to even it out as best as we can. So we get into some fat here on this side. Now the last couple I've done, I've actually left membrane on, and I think I'm going to continue to do that just because my final bite on these, it pulls off the bone clean. I don't notice any big texture differences, and I did have some non-biased opinions on my last cook. So there was 4 ribs, 4 different seasonings, cooked for about the same amount of time, and I got some good feedback on those. So we're just going to implement a little bit of this. I got one more bone here. I don't really like these, but I am, like I said, I'm just going to leave these on and then trim some of this fat off of here. Even that up. You know what? The more I look at it, the less I like it, so cutting that off. Taper in the corners. Right on the edge of the bone there. So my bones aren't as straight as I would like them on this, but they're not bad. You can see the bone ends are sticking out here. Actually, these are, yeah, that'd be my cartilage there. So ideally I would find the end of my bones and come in here and just cut it straight on there. Like I said, I'm not going through a deep trim on this. I am just going to square them up and taper off my edges or chamfer my edges. And all of this that I'm taking off right here, this goes in a bag in the freezer. I've got a couple bags of brisket trim and pork trim, pork butts, ribs. I've done quite a few ribs here recently. Need to get another pork butt. So there's a piece of cartilage there. I'm actually going to cut it out of there. We're not saving that. So they just tear it up a little bit right there, but no big deal. Competition trim would look a lot better than this. But because you're only going for one bite on those, they don't need to be huge. You only get that one bite, so. Cut the corner of that one off too sharp there. That wouldn't happen in competition. I'd come in and cut that next bone. Actually, this would all be gone anyway. Like I said, all this cartilage, I would find the edge of the bone and trim right to the edge of the bone. That way you get bone pull. We're going to get plenty of bone pull on this side because that's where the butcher cuts. Right down there to make that St. Louis cut. So we're going to square these up best we can. Lay them out as if we would lay them out on the grill. Squish them. And you kind of just form it to what you want them to look like. And those are good enough for what we're doing today. So I'm going to take these, set them off to the side, do the next two, and we'll fire up the pit. all three are trimmed up. I'm going to get the pit cleaned off, fired up, get ready. And next time you see these, we'll be getting ready to slather them up with some delicious rub and throw them on the pit. Well, here they are. I went ahead and saved some boring steps. You pat them dry, you add your binder. My binder is proprietary. Don't want to leak anything too important or too specific. Not that we're a threat yet. Going with the Rectex Honey Rib Rub, actually. This is an actual rib rub by Rectex. I've used this time and time again, and I keep getting the same result from it. Everybody likes this one. This one is the one that stands out to them. So shout out to Rectex for making a hell of a barbecue rub. I will add just a light dose of cumin and then some smoked paprika. I really just like the color of the smoked paprika. This does have plenty of good color to it, but I like to darken it up just a little bit with the paprika. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give a liberal coat to the full ribs here. Save you, spare you the watching of the trimmings there. You don't have to watch me season those, but you want to go ahead and get a nice thick, even coat on there. Don't forget your edges. The edge portion of it, you'll pat it down. The edge portion of it, I've still yet to master here. I feel like I'm just dumping copious amounts until something sticks. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it or not, but that's how I do it. Back gets a good helping of it as well. Remember, I left my membrane on there. Now people are probably going to holler at me in the comments about, you don't leave the membrane, that's not good for it. Well, I've tried with and without membrane, and honestly, I'm a fan of just leaving it on there. So that one, that's a good looking coat on there. It does look like it's a little bit on the side. I should probably do this on their own pan, that way they're not rubbing up against each other, but you know what, they're sharing the same rub, not a big deal. Come competition time, I may do one at a time, have one on a pan at a time, and just have a rub pan. Get that in there real good. Now, I believe this has got sugars in it. I like to have that sweet and savory on my ribs. But if it doesn't have enough sweet, there's always that option of just putting a little bit of brown sugar or even just cane sugar. I've seen where people would just put pure cane sugar on stuff. That Raw, I think, is the brand name on there. Oh, that was heavy. There's a little spot there I actually missed. I'm not gonna rub it. I know it sounds like you should rub it. Barbecue rub. Well, I think that's where it came from. I don't know. But I'm not gonna rub it. I'm just gonna pat it on there. And basically what the binder's job is to keep it on there long enough for me to get it on the grill, and then as you cook it, it'll hold that. Good even coat on that. Of course, we're just going through the rib rub right now, and then I'll dust with the other two seasonings I have out here today. It's also about 90 degrees, and it's only, yeah, it's just now 12. I was hoping to have these on at 12, but 90 degrees out, so we don't have much outside working time with these. before they actually start sweating. This one's already looking really good. You can see it's starting to sweat through. That rub is looking wet. That's how you know it's actually adhering to the meat. So let's go ahead and move on to my cumin. These are kind of large holes, so I like to get way over top of it, and I'm outside, so a little bit of wind helps carry that cumin. And you know, I'm up here sprinkling this high. Sprinkling it high. You probably can't even see it. But with my arm up in the air, it makes me feel like I have BO. If anybody's ever used cumin. So. And then, of course, just for the color, we're looking for that just to darken up just a little bit. And we're a good foot to 18 inches away from this, just lightly dusting until I can see the color change on those. Now look at those. Those look real nice. I'm gonna go ahead and toss these in the fridge, let them get nice and wet looking, let that rub have time to adhere real nice to the sides, the back, and the tops. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit the trimming portions of them with the same rub, same combo. Everything you saw on these will go to that. I just don't think I need to make a full video of them as well. So keep an eye out. We're going to look at these, take a good look at them now. When we come back, I'll show you what we're really looking for. Alright, so I just pulled these out of the fridge. What we're looking for is the nice shininess on there. You can see a spot or two where I got a little bit too heavy with the seasoning, but other than those couple of spots, they're pretty much even all the way across. So that's what you're looking for before you throw them on. So let me grab my gloves on here. I do have the smoker, the Z-Grill, set up right now on smoke. Haven't done this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on smoke this time around and run it for about 20-25 minutes and then bump it up to 250. So let's go ahead and get these on. All right, got them all on here. Got all the trimmings up on the top rack here because those are going to come off at a different time. They are a little bit thinner because they are the ends of the ribs than the rest of them. But I do want to note that I'm going to rotate these periodically. This one's going to go there, that one's there, just basically at a circular pattern because this does have a bit of a hotter spot in this general area. And you see I got my smoker tube going. Z-Grill is set to the smoke setting. So that's what the S, or looks like 5. That's what the S is for. It burned it right around 150, and I've seen it as high as about 175. So it'll fluctuate in there, but it does roll out some decent amount of smoke, and we're going to go ahead and give that a shot this time around. Just cranked it up to 250 to keep on cooking. Had them on smoke mode for 25 minutes. See them up there. Can't really tell too much right yet, but we still got smoke roaring in here. Gonna cook her at 250 until they get to probe tender. When they hit probe tender, we'll pull them off, glaze them, wrap them, throw them back on until they hit a good internal temperature, looking for around 207, 210. Alright, so I've got 2 of them that are ready. Double check which ones. That one. So I'm going to pull them off in an order here. Got one that's the least done. That'll be the last one off. So keep it on for this whole process. So for competition, you want every piece to be as even as possible. So your top coat and your bottom coat should be as even. That's why we season the bottom and the back side of the ribs, So we're gonna lay down a nice little bed of, it's just dark brown sugar. And then we've got honey. This is honey from a little further north than where I'm at. And I'm just going to take a little bit and drizzle it on. And then the Parquet, it's just squeezed butter. Just put a little bit down on there. This is the back of the ribs. It's not going to take in as much, but you do want those ribs swimming. So this one, see that right there. Break the membrane in between the bones just a little bit. You see they're already pulling nice. Alright, so basically what I did on the aluminum foil, we're going to do over the top of it. Starting with our brown sugar. I like to do them in the same order. As I did on the aluminum foil. Try to make it as even as possible here. Looks pretty good. And take honey. I'm going to do side to side drizzle across each one. Same thing with the butter. So I'm going to try. That's a lot. So there's that. That's about as simple as it gets right there. And try to shake some of that stuff up. I lay it down wider than my piece of meat, just so when I do flip the first piece of aluminum foil, it's coating the side of that. And you're going to want to get in there nice and tight, but you don't want to tear your aluminum foil. Or not fold it like a present for the first piece. That way, all the sides get coated. Nice and even. And then the second one, it doesn't matter how you wrap it, just make sure she's snug. But don't tear it. You tear it, then you're going to have a mess. You're going to lose all those juices, sugar that's going to melt with the butter and everything else. It's all just going to run out. It's going to be time wasted. So we'll slide that one back on. Next one we'll want to grab with the one in the back, but same process on all three of them. I'm going to go ahead and get it done, toss them back on, and the next time you'll see them, they should be slicing. Just like that. Got it all cut up. Good smoke line in them. You can see the cartilage is still in there. That's where I didn't cut both ends of the bone, but they've got great bone pull. You can see them, more of them down there. Real good color, very moist, very tender. And they fall right apart. Like and subscribe for more like us. See ya.